Hey guys, it's Destiny, and Kafka and Blade's banners were revealed today, and the two 5 stars look amazing, but you may be wondering, how good is the value of their banners? Today we'll be discussing Kafka and Blade's banners, where I go over the 4 stars themselves, their value, as well as eidolons, as well as the 5 star. Without further ado though, let's get straight into it. To begin, I'd like to go over Blade's banner, which has Blade himself, Natasha, Sushang, and lastly Arlan. Blade will be a wind destruction class character, Natasha is a free physical abundance character we obtain through playing the game, Sushang is a physical hunt character, and lastly Arlan is a lightning destruction class character. As for elemental variety, it's decent as we have physical, wind, and lightning on the banner. Regarding the worth of the 4 stars though, they are good 4 stars if you want to use them and want eidolons on them. Natasha's are really nice if she is one of your primary sustain characters, which means she is the one keeping your team alive. Typically this would either be your shielder or your healer. Getting more copies of her though, of course, is a nice thing for that purpose, as her utility does increase a bit through this, and overall just becoming a bit better of a healer as a result. Sushang is an excellent character who can either be a main DPS or a sub DPS on your team comps. She could be built for a break effect build, which I've seen that floating around more recently, and that is also a really good build on her if you are primarily looking at her as a sub DPS. You can have break if she is a main DPS, but I would primarily look at break if you are more so invested in a sub DPS Sushang. You could also do crit rate and crit damage, and she can of course be the main DPS of your teams by how she's able to act multiple times and turn orders due to her ultimate being able to advance her turn forward by 100%, and she can effectively have 3 actions in a turn as a result. So she can possibly do a skill, then an ultimate, and then a skill again, and she'll be able to attack enemies 3 times as a result, so this is really good. Sushang's eidolons are nice for being more skill point efficient with her, increasing her break effect, and also increasing her speed potential through her kit's stacks, which can result in a usage of using attack boots over speed. When you first get her, you may want to do speed boots, but if you do have one of her eidolons that increases the speed stacks she gains, then you can maybe even look into attack boots instead. It's ultimately up to you for that. Overall though, she is a great character and highly worth investing into, especially if you want a strong physical option on your account. As for Arlan, he sacrifices his health, and he's definitely powerful once you have the proper investment, and eidolons are nice as well, as they can increase his damage potential, and as a result this can be really good for him, and you could possibly be seeing yourself using main DPS Arlan with those eidolons, and just if you decide to invest into him. Blade himself is also a nice character from what it seems, as he could do follow-up attacks, price his health, and so on. Blade looks like a great option due to the fact that he is another wind option. We are currently lacking wind variety, only having Sampo, Donghung, and Branya, so this could be a really good plus for his value overall, and if you are looking into having another possible main DPS wind character that isn't Donghung, this can be a very good option. I'm sure Blade will also have really good damage output as well. I would give Blade's banner possibly a 7 out of 10. It could be better, but I don't think it's bad, since the characters on the banner can be quite valuable if you do want to build them, but if you aren't really interested in Arlan, Natasha, or Sushang, it may not be the best decision for you to look at this banner, unless of course you want Blade. But if you aren't interested in these characters, it can definitely decrease the value of this banner for you. Before though we get into Kafka's banner, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, make sure to subscribe to see more style content from me, and now let's carry on. Kafka's banner is stacked with characters who can inflict forms of damage over time or have a focus on damage over time. Kafka is a lightning nihility character, Luka is a physical nihility character, Sampo is a wind nihility character, and Serval is an erudition lightning character. That's definitely a lot of nihility on Kafka's banner for sure. Luka looks like a nice addition to nihility characters and may possibly have pretty good damage output depending on how he is when he comes out. Not much of course is known about him, but if he's on Kafka's banner, just judging on how we have Sampo and Serval, maybe Luka will also be a pretty good partner for Kafka. Of course, the same can be said about Sampo regarding being a good partner for Kafka, as he increases damage over time, and he's basically able to inflict wind shear very consistently and frequently on enemies, which is a form of damage over time, which Kafka can possibly take advantage of, and his Eidolons can assist with even more wind shear potential. As for Serval, she is free through the story as well, however, she is pretty good with Eidolons as they increase her shock potential, damage potential, and so on, which is highly worth it for those who do like Serval. And she may possibly also be another good partner for Kafka as well. Kafka herself looks pretty nice as she's another lightning character that revolves around an enhanced playstyle, I like to call it, of damage over time. And I'm very excited to see what she can do damage potential wise and synergy wise when it comes to team comps. Overall though, Kafka's banner is either possibly a 9 or even a 10 out of 10, honestly, since these characters seem to revolve heavily around damage over time, which Kafka takes advantage of, and they just seem to be really good for Kafka herself. So I think it's great she's paired with characters, or rather 4 stars on her banner, that can possibly help with her damage potential and can help players create team comps with her without having to possibly wait for future banners or stress about missing a current 4-star that would be really good for Kafka team comps. So I feel like this banner is overall very nice for all players who are interested in a damage over time playstyle, and of course interested in Kafka as well. That'll be all for my thoughts though on the banners. I will be back tomorrow to discuss Kafka and Blade more in depth, as I do want to gather my thoughts on their possible potential, what they can open the doors for regarding team comps, enhanced playstyles or different playstyles, and so on. I also want to possibly go over 4-star light cone options if I think of a few for this video as well. So that's why I'm going to wait until tomorrow to put it out. But of course, stay tuned for that if you do want to see that. If you enjoyed this video though, make sure to subscribe to see more. Leave a like, of course, to support the video as well. And lastly, let me know which banner and characters are you most excited for, Blade or Kafka? Or are you going to skip 1.2 entirely for the 1.3 characters, which were teased to be Fu Xuan, the new Don Hung, which by the way, he looks super cool, and possibly Lynx? Let me know in the comments down below what you are going to go for. For me personally, I'm heavily invested, or interested rather, in Kafka, Lynx, and Fu Xuan. I likely will pull for Kafka the most. I'll look into Blade, of course, once he's here, see how he is, and then give my judgment on that as well. But like always, I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.